Welcome to Lifted, elevating the game. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Lifted podcast series. The Minnesota tournament series continues on with my second guest today, and we'll get into him in a second. I want to first tell you guys that thank you so much for the response and the feedback from the interview with Sammy. It was one of my favorite interviews. It was a great time, and everyone was so supportive. They loved it. Got a lot of good feedback on it. So thank you guys for listening and watching, and thank you for that. I know the audio versions are not out yet. Those are being edited. Those are going to be out soon. We're going to kind of release all of them in a row. But this interview will be released this weekend. So you'll probably see this on Saturday night or Sunday, just like you saw the one with Sammy. Minnesota tournament, 4 weeks away, 3 weeks away, I think 3.5 now. We have 3 more guests after tonight, and the rumors are still swirling about teams, about who's coming, about who's playing for who. So I think we'll have a little more news as the weeks go on, but it's looking like it's going to be an amazing tournament, and we're excited for what's to come. Now to my guest, the man that has many traits, can play multiple positions, a variety of positions, diversity in his game, the jack of all trades, and that's my back right of Orlando Union, Freddy Virani. Thank you so much, Freddy, for being here. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm so glad to be finally be able to interview you, which I think is very well earned. And you deserve this time. So thank you for being here.
No, man, I wanted to thank you for this opportunity. Big fan of the podcast. I watch each one on release.
Thank you.
Sal gets a message from me.
Yes, I do.
Every week.
I do. I appreciate it.
When's the Lifted podcast coming out? So it's a great opportunity, and just want to thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, man. Well deserved. Like I said, you have come into your own as a player, and we're going to get into all of that now. Tell me from your humble beginnings where you started to learn the game of volleyball. We all know that your father, Imran Virani, was a volleyball player for LA Union for a very long time. We know that you started in LA Union. Talk to me about the first time you truly were introduced to the game of volleyball, and how you slowly started to actually play, because I know in LA it wasn't that big of a sport.
Yeah. We used to, I used to grow up. My dad would, the classic, you get a balloon, living room, just hit it around and stuff. That stopped when we hit one of my mom's fine china pieces off the wall and it cracked, so that stopped. But LA Union, they used to play every Sunday morning. They had like a little contract thingy with LA Fitness. So everyone would go there Sunday mornings, but I couldn't go because I had dressa. So for the first couple of years till I was like 12, 13, I wasn't able to make it out there. But then my mom, she'd like just leave, like skip the last class. And I used to
nice.
Yeah, one of the guys who used to play with us was he used to teach at madrasa, so I'd ride with him to LA Fitness. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, LA is really small community, so there was only like maybe to scrap 12 players was like once a month we'd get to run it, and it was good.
That was obviously, I had known you from LA. Ali Abbas Pira, you were the two guys that are truly new from LA. Jamil Jaffer was also somebody I knew from LA, but I knew that you guys would practice rarely, or when you do get to practice, you were trying to scrap players and get them on. I have a lot of cousins out there, Ayaz, KD, Irfan Karmali, all those guys. I know that there was times where you guys would come to some tournaments, and sometimes those tournaments would have mixed teams, and you'd have I remember one time in 2007 you guys had Abbas Kimji, and I know Imran Rahim was a big part of it and all that. At what point do you get your chance to now come and play in a tournament? Because I know you guys would have a mixed bags of players, but at some point you obviously got your opportunity, and I believe it was in net. Is that correct?
Yeah. Though, I mean, there was never, not that I remember, there was never like a full LA Union team. They always had to take a player from here or there. I know like Abbas Kimji played with us sometimes.
Yes.
Abu from North played with us. There's a whole crazy story with that. But my first time was in, I think it was Queens College. I think it was 2010 or 2011, whichever one it was.
2010,
I was playing side net, and I think Uncle Riaz and Kenny were playing with us that
Yes,
tournament.
yes, yes.
And a little fun fact: Imran Jivraj was playing third line.
Third line,
So
yeah.
it was a fun experience. I had no clue who any of these people were. Now, like, you know, I see
So,
them
so
every
it
day.
actually, in all honesty, you actually played in a tournament where Imran Juvraj started third line, and you were
I
actually
know
in.
it's great. Not a
So
lot of people can say it.
amazing to have that in your resume, right?
Yeah.
When you played that tournament, was it almost like, okay, I can kind of like this sport, or were you like, nah, man, this is not for me?
I mean, at the time, I just started playing, maybe like a year or 2 years before that. So I was still just getting used to it. And my dad was like, "Hey, you want to go to New York?" And I'm,
Who's gonna say no?
14
Yeah,
years old. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down to
yeah,
go to New York." So I went. I played side net. It was fun. I don't remember a lot of it. I see like there's some pictures on Facebook and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I do remember we were getting blown out a lot. Getting blown. Like the levels are completely different from LA
Of
Union
course, of
to some of
course,
these top tier teams.
of course.
I remember there was actually a Minnesota kids team, and if I
Okay.
remember correctly, I think some of the people in Minnesota now
Yeah,
were on that team, and there was
yeah,
a period of time in the game where losing to them. And like I'm looking across the net
yeah, yeah.
and I see a bunch of kids my age like beating up on on these guys.
Kicking our
And I
ass.
look
Yeah.
back at them, I'm like, yo guys, like we need to pick something up here. So
the
yeah, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it.
the your father, did he ever, want you to play the sport? Like, was he really on you to start playing it, or was it kind of your own thing?
Yeah, I
Where,
mean,
because I know your father didn't play that much, but he still would love the game. He still loves the game till
he
today.
loves the game.
Still
He
today,
loves the
he was one of
You'll
the
see him
court
at tournaments.
managers, right? Like this
Yeah.
past tournament, he loves the game. How
Yeah.
much of an influence did that make on you, continuing to play?
Yeah, I mean, even playing with the LA Union, not like a crazy team or anything like that. The passion for the game is there, and my dad's a very animate guy. So like whenever there's a tournament or stuff like that, he's really into it. I
Yeah.
mean, when we were going for LA Union, we moved from LA Fitness to American Sports Center in Anaheim,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, we had the bag with the net and the balls and the tape
Okay.
and
Okay.
everything in the car. So we were basically running it. I
Right.
was sending out the texts like, "Hey
No
guys,
way.
I got the court next Wednesday,"
Uh-huh,
and we didn't
uh-huh.
have any like WhatsApp groups or anything like that.
It
I
was
was
like
sending out
individual
broadcast
text.
message. Yeah, so I mean, he definitely pushed me to play. There was times where I'd come back home from like tennis matches, and I'd be like dead beat, and he's like, "Nah, bro, like let's go."
No
I
way.
kind of like understand it now because I was playing net, so if I didn't go, it was kind of screwed.
The practice wouldn't happen.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we only had two netties. Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not an
Yes.
abundance. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, he definitely like all credit to my dad. Like without him, I don't think I would be playing. I would probably just stuck to some other sports.
At what year do you move to Orlando? How old are you when you moved to Orlando?
I moved to Orlando in 2014. So I was
Okay, so
18
you've been here.
straight out of high school.
Wow, 9 years you've been here.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a long time.
It's been a
It
minute.
doesn't feel like a long time, but
Doesn't feel like
it's
it.
been a
Yeah, it
while.
definitely
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it. Okay, so you moved here at 18. You understood the volleyball culture here. You understood how much it was, how big it was comparative to obviously LA.
Not even though. Like okay, like I was a kid. I was in high school in LA.
Right.
I didn't know anything about Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
York, Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
none of these places, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I moved here, it was a crazy culture shock.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
if you didn't play volleyball, it was kind of like, yo, who are you? And
Yeah,
luckily I did, but again, like the levels are just
yeah,
so different. Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
went to my first so before I moved when we were looking for a place and I
Mm-hmm.
came down here to check out UCF and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I went to practice
Mm-hmm.
and I was playing front left, and yeah, it did not go good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It did not go
I'm
good.
sure.
So
I'm sure.
I mean, it was definitely shocked to come out here and start playing. But
No, man. I think even for a guy who does play volleyball, for example, when I moved down here, I thought it was freaking the hardest thing in the world. I felt like it was a tournament every week. I mean,
yeah,
coming from New York, which I thought was a decent team. I mean, we had a decent team. It was like, wow, shit. You blink here, you can get me casa.
yeah, you can't.
Like,
There's no.
you can't blink, brother. Like, you can't think.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
just got to
It's true. It's
react
true.
sometimes, and it's almost unrealistic the speed, but it actually, it makes you a better player. And I think in the last
I
year,
think I think in the past like 4 or 5 years, it's gotten really fast down here.
really
When I
fast.
moved, I feel like at Greenwood, like I don't think maybe it was, but I don't think it was that crazy. Now it's just
through
the moon.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And again, credit to my dad. When I moved here, I was in like a pickle because there was two clubs at the time. It was Orlando Union and Orlando Jack.
You're right.
Now, the upside of Orlando Union is there's competition, competing for tournaments, that. And then Orlando Jaffrey's is like, okay, it's a good place to go, like, get your hand set.
And you can make the A team and play. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, from day one, he's like, yo, you got to go to Union. And that's what ended up happening. I think he didn't want me to keep crashing these Friday nights.
Yeah. When you end up going to Orlando Union, now you're playing, and now you're playing frontline. You're no longer a netty. You're playing in the front line. Do you obviously are coming into a time where Orlando's a dynasty now in the making, right? You see the front line and Imran Jarraj and Hilal and KJ. And at that time,
they're full-fledged dynasty at that point.
At that point, their Marhaba is 2014, and they won the back-to-backs, and they won away from home. And it was like they were on the rise. Again, the culture here was amazing in terms of now every youth wants to be involved, every youth wants to play. When you started playing frontline, was it almost like, man, I may not have a spot here if I stay in the front line? Like, did you ever think that? Were you just like, no, get better, and just enjoy the ride?
I didn't have a choice, man. Like, front left, especially when I first started playing, like, that's the only place that I could play.
Yeah.
There's no way, like, I could just, like, learning, go to the back line. Like, you know how it is when you start. You got to get your hand set in the front first, and then 100%. Maybe you can think about moving. But there's no opportunities in center.
Anything
like that. Arthur's playing back right, so you can't go back right.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's like it was crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, there was no real, like, big opportunity. It's just kind of go to practice and get better. But at the time when I moved here, yeah, I mean, everyone has aspiration to, like, make the A team.
Of course,
But, like, to be honest, I was just going on Fridays with my friends.
Yeah,
I was trying to make friends. You know what I mean?
When did it click for you that okay, I love this sport now. I can see myself playing it, and I can play it at a good level. At what point does that click for you? Like, is it because you move in 2014? I'm sure you're raw. You know, you're still in school. You're trying to make your friend circle. How many years does it take you to finally be like, whoa, okay, I can play this game?
I think it might have been after a few tournaments on the B team. Probably after Minnesota, the one that you guys played Arcades in the finals.
In the finals, 2016. Yeah.
Maybe after that, after Sunshine, maybe
it clicked. It almost clicked for you. Like, okay, like it
started. I started being able to take points from people.
Yes, and like, exactly.
The game kind of started getting
in everybody's career, there's that turning point where now you feel like, okay, I can be dominant, or I can do this, or I can do that. And now the game is coming to you at a slower pace, and you feel like you have control of it.
Exactly.
2016, I remember, yes, you played in the B team in Sunshine. And that was when we had our little mini rivalry, which we'll get into a little later on.
Fun one.
That was a very fun one. At what point does it become your calling almost to be on this B team that was created? And the B teams, some of the B teams, I believe, started. Let's talk about the B teams that, for example, started in Minnesota, and then let's go to the Sunshine B team. Where are you playing? Like, your first
one was the crazy one. That was New York 2015. That was my first ever proper volleyball tournament. Orlando B. I remember we used to go tournaments saying, like, yo, B Sting, like some
B Sting. I remember that. Yeah.
It was like me, Kenny, Pops, Hadi, Haji, Laka. Khalil Qasim played with us. Alizi was playing in net by himself.
Oh my God.
I remember that tournament. What kind of got me, like, going, like, in, like, a little bit of, like, a takeover mode was Ali Reza Maneka playing back center. And in the practices before, like, we would keep up with the A team. Obviously, I don't think they were trying against us that much. Kind of just like how normal practice is.
Yeah.
But the first game of the tournament, he looks at me, he's like, okay, for the next 2 days, I don't want to take one defensive ball. I just want to hit third balls. And I'll never forget that statement, because I'm like, yo, we played Stanmore the first game, and they beat us Lovely straight.
Oh my God.
No, nothing.
No way.
I remember we lost Lovely, and those little benches in sports time, like the hockey rinks.
Yes.
I was sitting there. I was like, yo, this?
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, but then we ended up splitting with them. We split with Stars.
Oh wow!
So we had like a good tournament, and then it just ended up fizzling out like that. But that was the fun.
That was a fun one. Okay, so 2015 that happens. 2016 you end up in Minnesota playing for the B team. Then
that one, that was a good one.
What happened in that B team?
It was we added Maz came down from the A team.
Yes, he played on the B team
up to A. Ali T had just moved, so he was there.
Okay.
Umel Laka had just moved, so he
was
there.
Okay.
And little baby Mikhail Darcy was playing net next
playing
to
net
now, so he started. And yeah, I mean, we were rolling. We had like typical B team tournaments, like one upset here, one upset there.
And Orlando's B team has always been known to be a very good team. It's always that team that will cause an upset here and there, right?
Yeah, and we were killing it, man. We were in the quarters versus arcades.
Yeah.
So in I think it's called Crystal.
Crystal, yeah.
Right. So we're on the middle court. We're playing arcades, and on the other court is Orlando Union playing 786.
Yes.
And so we split the first two games with arcades.
No way.
Game three comes down. We're up like 11-4 or something like that.
What?
We were killing it.
I think I was so busy watching 786 in Orlando.
Nobody's watching us.
Which I maybe kind of helped, right? Yeah.
I mean, it was great. Everyone's watching the 18. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
It's going crazy. And a crazy story actually about Marhum Shamash. And this one thing that I really, really liked about that tournament is Ali Z went to take a putty. He landed straight on his back. And it looked like this guy got paralyzed.
Yeah.
Shamash went straight to his bag, got like the anti.
Always
lifted Ali Z and sprayed him for like a solid 30 seconds. He sprayed him and he continued playing. He couldn't walk before.
Honestly, Shamash is always known for that. Every time our guys got injured, Shamash was the first guy to come in there with some icy hot or something.
Yeah. It was sick. So yeah, we're playing them. We're up like 11-4 with like 5 minutes left, and we didn't know what was going on with the A team. Whenever there was a timeout, Alira's uncle would just run to the other side trying to figure out what's going on. And then we started hearing Orlando by chants.
Oh my
God.
And
we thought they were talking about us. We started like slipping here and there, and then it just all went down. But yeah, I mean, I take credit. I think we warmed Sean up that tournament.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really freaking appreciate it. It just but that's just funny that they made the finals. And you guys had them. You guys potentially had them.
We were there. I mean, I know Orlando B's always been like the classic overhyped team.
Yes.
But going into every tournament, I really feel like if things click for Orlando B, you can't.
You never know. You truly never know.
Like even in this past tournament, like they couldn't far.
You truly never know. I mean, we were playing them for first place at the end of the night.
We were splitting games with them in practice.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like at the end of the night, for us to sit there and actually be like, wow.
Yeah, Saturday.
Whoever wins is first.
Saturday game.
Like it's crazy to think about. When so that tournament happens and you end up in Sunshine 2016. I think you guys had a pretty good tournament there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
Now you have Musti on your team too, right? I believe.
Yeah, we had Musti. Hosey came in. So Hosey was there. Musti and Imran Laka in the back, and then I feel like the B team frontline it was always me, Melaka, Hadi, and Pops in the front.
Yeah.
And then we had Mikhail and Mama, his brother. They were playing that for us. I mean, I don't remember so much about the tournament, to be honest. I know we beat a couple teams.
Yeah, I know you had some good games. You had a close game against us.
Close. That game was that one's sweet. That was sweet. Even though we lost, it was a sweet one.
Yeah.
We had a close one with Joffrey's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
you were so you were pretty much a constant on this B team. I mean, things are changing around you, but you're constantly there working on your craft.
I was playing front center for like a solid 5 years in the B team.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about 2017. What happens in 2017? Because I don't remember the team that you were on in 2017, because 2018 was New York. And we all know that team. That team was
2017. Which tournament?
That's what I'm saying. I don't recall. The tournament in 2017 was not Minnesota, because that was 2016. 2018. What was 2017?
Arcades? Oh, the A team.
The A team happened.
Yeah, my boys.
2017 is the A team.
That was a good one.
Tell me about that experience, because for you at that time, probably the one time that you felt like I'm playing with players that are very skilled and we have a chance to do damage, which you guys did, and you took us out of the NWO.
Yeah, so I remember we put a message out in chat, like who wants to go to Arcade's tournament, this, that, and like it was dead. No one was responding. So it was kind of a little bit, some shady business going on.
Yeah. All of us pulled on some shady stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever ended up happened. We took our separate teams, and yeah, I mean, we were just playing with our friend, me, Shane, MZ, Yasser, Pops, Jack, Maz, Hassan. That was the first time that Hassan and LEZ played together.
That's true. That was a fun team. That was a fun team.
It was a blast. It was a blast.
Fun team.
We had a good. We did not play well at all. I don't think.
Yeah, and then the cherry on top
round robin, it was
eliminating
really
us.
shaky, and then we had one positive in the game versus you guys,
and that was funny. The morning of, we're sitting there, we're like, these kids are gonna beat us today. Like, we know you guys are gonna beat us today, and we end up coming in there and we take a huge lead.
Yeah, it was like 11-2 or something like that.
And we're like, hey, okay, well, this is quite easy.
Honestly, MZ caught fire.
And then
caught fire. I think KJ had a video of that and he deleted it, to be honest.
Really?
Just putting that out there in the.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that. I didn't know
he was recording games.
I know there is a recording available of that game, maybe like a 2-minute clip that I have, that I can show you.
I know the quarterfinals when we played Joffrey's is on Joffrey's channel.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
And I don't even watch that.
That was a very quick quarterfinal. I think it would have been quick if we were there too. But the going back to 2016 a little bit, and this is just kind of my relationship with Freddie. Freddie and I used to be in many chats together, and a lot of we would shit talk each other. Naturally, when you're young, you just shit talk each other, blah blah blah. And I would shit on him about being on the B team, and he would shit on me about hitting the ball out, and we would just go back and forth. And sometimes it got quite heated. But I take blame for a lot of that, because I was really like trying to I was putting you down a lot just to try to.
I loved it. It was mad fun banter.
And I feel bad now, and I apologize to you later on in your career.
It's all good, bro.
But we ended up playing in the game. We ended up playing a game. Now, Freddie, obviously, the way to get in his mind was, under 2 minutes, you're going to try to hit him, right? Because he was notorious for that. Obviously, that has changed now. But at that time, it was like, okay, it's a close game. Try to hit the ball to Freddie. And I believe Freddie gives a point, but then I hit a ball out right after that. And it was just like a good back and forth. I had a bet with him that I was going to take 5 points from him. And I think I took exactly 5. And then
I had a bet with you that you're going to hit 5 out.
And I did hit 5 out. And then Imran Murji wins the game on service, of all things. But after that, I think, is when our relationship got better, and I think we just pushed that to the side. And obviously, I was always rooting for you. 2017, you beat our asses, and I was very upset about that. But I commend you guys, because I remember you being the first one out of all your guys to come outside when we were standing out there and just say good game to us, and be like, you were very cordial, you were very respectful. So I always appreciate that, because easily you guys didn't have to do that, but I know that you were one of and all those guys did it, but you were one of the first ones to do it. So I appreciate that.
I think it's a big thing, man. Like, on the court is on the court, and I think I'm a really big proponent of that. Like,
yeah.
Like, I talk a lot of smack on the court. It's like,
but that's even us in practice, right? Like, we talk shit to each other, but once you get off the court,
everybody's boys. Like, you know what I mean? There's no reason to hold grudges and stuff like that. 100%. It's bigger than that.
I agree. I think now we move to 2018, which I think probably was the most fun, exciting, watched B team in a very long time, because you now have youth, the guys like Kenny and all these guys not really there as much. You have yourself. You have Imran Jamal, right? Boss man. You have Fam. Ali T's there still. And then you have Ali Akbar Allu, I believe. A lot of young
Dungy
guys.
Was there. Mama Dungy.
Oh, Mama Dungy was there. Raza Dungy's
Pops
son
was there still.
Yeah, Pops was still there. Like, a very young, fun team. First time Ali Akbar is playing for Orlando Union. You now have a team that of guys that you feel like maybe are at your level, or similar to, or working.
Yeah, for sure.
That. You guys had some good games, and you played Jaffrey's in the round of 16 in a very close. They beat you 2 straight, but both games were amazing down to the wire.
Straight.
What was that experience like for you? And did you know or think that was going to be your last tournament on B?
Okay, let me start from the beginning of the question. That tournament was definitely one of my favorites. It was like a full youth team.
Yeah.
We had our like vets with like Ali T and Musti, but
Yeah.
other than that, I think the average age on that team was like 22.
Yeah.
Like it was really
Super
young.
young team.
The first game of the tournament, we played Canada West,
Mm-hmm.
and it was last point wins, and it
Yes.
was like a
Sudden death.
super
Yeah.
long rally, and Boss Man is playing front left,
Mm.
and there's a ball that clips the putty. It's not even the
Putty.
one that clips the
Yes.
putty and comes to you. It's
Yeah.
like the one that dies at the
Yeah.
net.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yo, I don't know how
Full
we
fledged.
dove,
Yeah.
put it in the net, get the point, game over, and
Wow.
it was too
Wow.
much fun. It was too
Wow.
much fun.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, we had a good tournament, and then we ended up drawing Joffreys in the quarters, and I remember we tried to like figure out some ways that we could like dodge them and play someone else,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
didn't end up
Yeah. Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we put up a good fight. I feel like the first game was probably the close one, and the
Yeah.
second one we threw away.
Yeah.
I remember the first one was pretty close.
Very close.
My favorite shot I've ever hit still to this day is I had a spike in that game and it got a
Yes.
Saint GG on the
GG on the
shoulder.
shoulder. Yes. Yes.
Oh my
So
God. That
so
was that was the most hype moment of my volleyball career by far.
we were
But yeah,
so
it was mad
so
fun.
I think that out of all the round of 16 games, that was the most watched game because we had tried to avoid. So we knew that if we came a certain seed, we would have to play Jaffrey's in the quarters. Nobody in their right mind wants to play Jaffrey's in a quarterfinal, especially in New York when they had won like 19 straight years, right? So
Yeah.
when we sat there, we're like, okay, how do we avoid Jaffrey's? At some point, we decided, you know what, we're not going to avoid Jaffrey's. What we're going to do is we're going to hope that Orlando B somehow beats them, right? Which is a far cry, right? We come sit there, we're watching you guys, and the first game is hella close. And we're like, hey, listen, we could avoid Jaffrey's. It ends up obviously happening that Jaffrey's are Jaffrey's, right? They win the game.
Yeah.
We end up playing Jaffrey's in the quarterfinals. We win. So it happened,
Yeah.
hey, everything, sometimes you just don't dodge the guys and it works out.
Yeah. That was a big lesson learned on that.
Lesson learned, yes.
Sure.
And you guys played amazing. Obviously, a come out party for not only you, but Aliaska Alu. And then after that is when does somebody approach you? When do you get approached to now be told, hey, listen, Minnesota 2019, we want you and Alu on the A team? Who does that?
I think it was probably Ari. Ari was captain at the time. I know, and this is a little insider info. I remember there was some talks of Alu going straight to A in that New York 2018.
Okay.
To stand, I don't know. I assume we would have like stood third.
Yeah.
But that didn't end up happening. So it was almost like a guarantee. I think also MZ took like a hiatus, stopped playing for a while. So then Alu was like a locked and loaded A team starter, whatever like that. And I was like here or there. I don't know.
And you've been now on the B team for like about 4 years.
Yeah. I was on the B team for a while, and I remember I don't know if Maz wasn't supposed to come, or back in the day, Maz, like in the beginning of the year and stuff like that, he at practice he just like he wasn't doing anything. But then like 3 weeks before the tournament, he turns up.
Oh yeah, that's Maz. That's Maz for you.
That's how it is. So I remember going into Minnesota, I was practicing to play this Maz role, this back center role. I'm playing behind Bilal, just playing defense. And I was like, all right, here we go, first shot. And then there was a meeting, like maybe 2 weeks before the tournament, and it was kind of like a flip the script kind of thing. And Maz was backing it, and I was standing third.
Maz, you always find a way, Maz. Huh?
100%, Maz would find a way. But I remember in that meeting, it was I was only supposed to come in for the coin, the balls to the walls.
The balls to the walls.
That we were gonna do. Whenever if we needed 4 points in 14 seconds,
we need you to come in.
But like, yeah, it was great.
When you get told, okay, you're going to be on the A team, obviously a sense of pride, finally making it on the A team, playing for Orlando Union, a dynasty, a team that had not won at that time for a couple of years now. 2019, last time they won was the end of 2016. So obviously you're new blood, you're fresh, you're new to the vibes, and I think they wanted to inject some youth inside Orlando Union. What part of you looks at the scenario and goes, okay, fine. So let's just say they told you you're going to be the back center, you're going to play that Maz role. Even in your mind, playing that Maz role was a temporary thing, realistically. I'm sure in your mind, you're looking at this front line and going, well, I'm a very damn good. I could play front line. At that point, you could play front line A team anywhere besides Orlando, right? Essentially, when you look at the front line, you go, where am I going to get my time? Like, this was a very studded. I mean,
you're never going to get your time.
The best front line ever.
And yeah, 100%.
You're sitting there like, holy shit, when am I going to get my turn? Was it almost not demoralizing, but did you have a goal? Did you even know what was supposed to happen next for your career?
I mean, at that point, I kind of had to like change my mentality from like a me to kind of like a team mentality. Yeah. So I kind of had to just embrace what was going on, and whenever my number was called, like I just gotta be there.
Just be ready.
And I mean, this happened in a bunch of tournaments now. I think I've played like so many different positions. It's getting a little crazy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that is where we talk about this 2019 tournament and you getting your shot in a semifinal when shit's hitting the fan against Minnesota. You turn around and go, hey, Freddy, save us. Can you come in?
You know what? I don't think it was in those exact words, but I think that hey Freddy, I think that was
and they throw you into the fire. What was your feeling like entering that game and that magnitude at that point and that juncture of the game? I mean, probably nerves, right? Like, I got to show up now.
I mean, yeah. So like I said, I was basically told it's a team, right? So I was standing third for the majority of the tournament. I played like the first 2 games on Friday while some of our like guys players were still coming in.
Yeah.
So I made sure I booked the early flight to get those 2 games.
100%.
But yeah, so I hadn't played since Friday morning, and I was just been the guy, like pumping everybody up. And then I think we were like down maybe like 2 points or something like that, and I had to go in, and it was crazy, man. I don't even remember what I was feeling or anything like that.
I could only remember
it was me and Alu on the line, and I just remember going in, and what it felt like the first ball that was hit to me, I like stretched, and just tape-led the ball like behind me. It was like the worst possible feeling of all time. I came in, gave 2 straight, and then
they locked down.
I mean, okay, like once you played, like at that point, I've already played like 7, 8 tournaments. After the nerves kind of
dwindle
away, they go away.
You can play.
You don't. Once you're in the zone,
moment,
it goes away, and you're just playing at that point. So once I hit a couple, once I put a couple in the net, I was good.
When you end up going and playing front line at that time, obviously a sense of comfortability knowing that Aliosker is behind you. You had just played with him in a tournament. But again, throwing you into the fire, you end up doing extremely well. You guys win the semifinals, and then
walk off, baby, game one,
walk off. You end up in the finals against Jaffrey's, and lo and behold, Freddy, we need you to do something else. We need you to go into the net.
Yeah,
Hassan Manakia gets cramped up, can't play the finals, and guess who they call on? The utility man. Freddy's back in business. Play side net with Safe. What was that experience like being KJ?
When you say it out loud, it sounds like he's stupid.
Being KJ's personal netty, and we all know how hard and difficult that is because KJ has no regard for what a net is. He's just pounding the ball and expects you to lift it. What was that experience like? And mind you, let's put it in perspective. That final was shit. Like, you guys are getting rocked. Okay. So I can only imagine for you, what was that time like?
Okay, so we started 4 in the front.
Yes.
It didn't work. I went third. Whatever happened, I was okay with it. I wanted the team to get the dub at that point. I didn't care how we got it. Hassan ends up going down with this cramp, and we take a timeout, obviously. And we get in the timeout. And at this point, we're already getting rocked. Yeah. And I've never seen the A team everyone so excited to go in net. KJ is like, I'm ready to go in net. Imran's like, I'm ready to go in net. Hilal's like, I'm ready to go in net. Bro, I was like, listen, the only way, like, first, I think after it happened, Safe, that was his first tournament.
Yeah.
So he was in the huddle, like saying, like, "Yo, guys, I got it. Don't worry. Play your
Yeah.
game, whatever."
Yeah. Yeah.
But at that level of the game, one netty doesn't cover it.
Oh
You
no,
need
no, no.
you
You
need
need
that
help.
safety
You need help.
blanket, someone there
Yeah, you need help. Yeah.
when there's a down the line ball, putty, this, that.
100%.
So he started playing solo. He played
Mm,
solo net, I think,
mm,
for a couple points, and then
yeah.
I ended up going in, and yeah, it was crazy. The only time I'd played net, like in the past couple years up until then, was like if we go to Jamestown,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
beach
Yeah.
volleyball net
Yeah.
where no one cares.
And if you
So
truly look at your story at this point, if you truly look at it, I'm going to put it in perspective for you. Your career came back full circle. You ended up
yeah,
playing Netty for LA Union, and
yeah,
now you're playing Netty for Orlando Union in a final.
yeah,
Okay, that final doesn't go as planned. Obviously, first tournament with Orlando, being in a final already a great achievement for you, and obviously playing a big role in getting there. Obviously, in the semifinals and all that. You now turn to Faisal Banji tournament in 2019, and that Orlando doesn't go to that, but you end up joining with Minnesota. Yourself, Anu, join with Monty, Matham, Nicknam, and a bunch of Aliaskar Walji and a bunch of other guys. Tell me about that team, that experience, because to me, personally, I think that really propelled your Aliaskar Matham's careers.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's when you guys took another level, the next level. And I think you guys all came into your own as players because now you just came off that final. You had the opportunity to play post of that. So it kind of gets you out of that. You know, the best thing
Yeah.
for a loss is another tournament, right? So you can forget about the previous one. What was that entire experience like? You guys were steamrolling through that round robin. You guys played amazing, won some big games, and then you meet Jaffrey's in the quarterfinal, a little rematch for you, the revenge game. Tell me
Yeah.
about that whole entire experience.
I mean, we weren't. I remember that tournament was a little bit like there was. We didn't know what teams were going in this. I remember we were supposed to maybe play for New York if some players weren't going,
Yes.
or Undu was gonna
Yes.
play or something
Yes.
like
Yes.
that,
Yes.
and that fell out. And at that point, I was like, "Yo, I'm not down." And then Anu, with his crazy ideas, is like, "Guys, let's go with Minnesota."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Bro,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
talking about?"
Yeah. Musti was on that
And
team too, actually. Yeah.
Musti was there also. Yeah,
Yeah.
Musti, Amu, they're all there.
Yeah. Amu was there. Yeah.
So Anu was like that, and then me and Alu were like, "Yo, like, what is this guy on?" Then we ended up going with them, and it was definitely one of the best tournaments of my life. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah. You guys played amazing.
You know, we heard like the stories of like this Cinderella story of like
Yes.
Hilal, KJ,
Yes.
and
Yes.
them when they
Yes. Yes.
played against
The
like
five
Rebel
against
or
East.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, this was kind of like our little
Your own
story
version
like
of it.
that,
Yeah.
and it was a coming out party, man. Like
Yeah.
Aliesker was hitting some bombs
Oh
in
my
there,
God. It was.
some bombs,
It
and
was it was a
you know,
crazy dynamic with you in the front, and then you were pounding, and
yeah,
then this guy in the back, Aliaska with Matham, and then the guys around you fit perfectly.
the role players in that team were the most perfect. It was
And I think
everyone did
Monty
their
also,
job. There was
yeah,
no
Monty
hero
came into his
balls.
own that tournament. He got his
Yeah,
first real crack, and then lastly, you get to play Minnesota. I mean, Jaffrey's Musti. I remember in that quarterfinal served lights out. He always has
yeah.
Jaffrey's number. But you guys all played amazing. And tell me about that quarterfinal. What was that like? Because the night
Uh,
before something happens, right?
oh, so yeah, the night before we had like a little bra. I think you were there too.
Yeah, yeah,
We were going through all the games and
yeah,
like putting up like sports lines like, oh,
yeah,
East
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
win
yeah,
by this much.
yeah,
And I remember our matchup came and we were like 11-point dogs. And
yeah,
we were like, yo,
yeah.
and I mean, you're going against Joffrey after they just smoked us in Minnesota in the final,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
we're here with like a youth kids team mix
Yes.
kind of thing.
And you played them the
And
last game of the night on Saturday,
we
if I'm
played
not
them on
mistaken.
Saturday night, and they probably beat us under five or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember going to bed that night. In our room was me, Safe, Boss Man, and Alyasker.
Yeah.
And I look at Boss Man, like, yo, like we got to be up at this time. This time
Yeah.
we got to go. He's like, yo, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, you guys got no shot. I'll be there for game two.
That's too early for Boss Man, anyways.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
That
like,
is
he
too
needs
early
his
for Boss
beauty
Man.
sleep. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
right on schedule. Game one, they
Mm-hmm.
spank us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really bad, and then something just clicked. I don't even know what, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think because at that time they were using that Kizzer, Ukhtar, Nick.
Yes. Dynamic.
like trio.
Yeah.
So we kind of caught on to like what kind of gaps like each one of those guys like to hit. So we kind of made like a little plan. Like, okay, when the ball gets lifted to this guy, like, okay, you take
It's
a
what
step
we
here, you take
do.
a step
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And it just started clicking and everyone played solid defense. Like Alyaskar in the front center, he was pounding the net. Every
Yeah.
ball that was
Yeah.
coming to him, seeing the net.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anu is blocking. I'm
Yeah.
blocking. These are like
Yeah.
spikes after
Spikes.
spikes coming
Yeah.
at us. And honestly, Alu and Meta, even Nick Nam in the back, Nick Nam's defense in the back was underrated.
Yeah.
100%. They were taking points too. Alu and Meta, they were pounding.
Oh, they were pounding. You
and
guys.
Musti, shout out to Musti that tournament. He took like in the last game, game 3. I don't know what was going on in game 3, but it felt like everything that could go right went right.
It went right. It was clicking.
They were not taking any points on us, off of us, and we were just taking.
Yeah.
And Musti took like 2-3 service points, and at that point, it's crucial.
I think there was a level of so much support for you guys because everyone saw what Jaffrey's did to all the teams in Minnesota. And it was almost like, can these kids really pull this upset off?
I remember in every timeout from that, and even going into the semis with stars and stuff like that. And every timeout, me and Olu would get together. We're like, "Yo, revenge tour." Because we I think it was probably 2 months before that we played in Minnesota. It was bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was really bad.
And as a youth, you remember those things, and you want to prove it to yourself, to the outsiders, to the people that may be doubting you. That listen, we can beat these guys, and you guys did it, and you guys took them down in the quarterfinals, which we were so grateful for. We end up missing you, so thank God we missed you. But you end up playing stars in the semis, take them to 3 games, win the first game. And we
won the first game convincingly.
Yeah, and every team.
Like I think we got a little bit too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like because we just beat Joffrey's. We played game 1 versus United Stars.
Yeah.
And it felt like we rolled through it pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then game 2, I think I watched the video a couple of times, and Conan in the background, like he came up with some solid strategy. And he definitely.
When you guys, it's funny because every single series that took place in that tournament, the team that won the first game did not win the series. So it was one of those weird things that happened.
And I had to give the last point. Like this is classic thing.
Classic. Great tournament, but the pandemic hits right after, and we kind of stopped playing volleyball for a little bit. And then we hear about Stanmore. We hear about Stanmore hosting a tournament. New York wants to join with Orlando, and a bunch of things are happening on the background. All of a sudden, Orlando has a team. New York has a team. And we go, wait, how does Orlando have a team? Arifali's hurt and this and that. And they go, well, we got a backline player. Freddy's going to play backline. And guess what? Anytime we need someone to fill a hole, we know who to call, and they call Freddy. When they approached you with this idea to play back right in Stanmore, number one, what was your thought? Because there's not a traditional V anymore. Aliaskar's playing the center position. You're playing back right, playing behind KJ. First time really playing in the back line in a tournament officially. What was that entire process, communication? What was that like? And then obviously, what was that tournament like for you?
So I remember the talks started like mid Ramadan. This is when it was like crazy. Everyone's meeting up together every night. Every night there's a different story. And I was out. I wasn't gonna go to Stanford.
Yes.
Because I was getting married in a couple months after that. I was saving up money. My vacation days were all used. And our international coordinator, Maz, somehow he made it happen again. Convinced me to come Stanmore. And back right. I mean, like to fill the shoes like Ari's is too hard, man. Like I can't even like even in December and things like that. I try not to like compare my play to
Of course not. Yeah.
But I feel like obviously if he was there, it's a step up. Like Prime Ari is a top 5 player in the game. Yeah. So 100%. Like I don't know. It was a tough pill to swallow back right, but hey, I was getting a shot. I was gonna take it.
Right.
And, I mean, I can't turn down an opportunity to play on 18. So.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to play back right, and you played amazing, and you played a role that again brand new to you, right? Having very minimal time to train for it, right? Really, right? Because you confirmed late. Everyone was kind of confirming late. And you end up in the semis, you lose the semis, and we all know what happened, that controversial situation. But nonetheless, a great tournament for you. At that point, when you come back from that, is your mind like, okay, I think this is my calling. I think I'm going to be a back right. I finally found my footing. I finally found my position. Artfully, obviously, not ready to come back. Did you think this was it now? Okay, I am now going to be the best back right I can be.
I mean, that was my spot.
Yeah.
Like when we came back from Stanmore, I mean, we put up like Stanmore, we put a show out there.
Yeah.
Like we lost on some weird technicalities I don't want to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we felt like we did enough to win there, and going into a home tournament, we felt like it's enough to win there too. And
yeah,
I mean, so before Stanmore, I'd never played back right before. Like I'd play it here or there when we're playing on like a Friday practice, but like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the tournament, I'm like, okay, now I have to learn how to play this whole new position.
Exactly.
So I mean, it was good. Then after Stanmore, I only played back right for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like that was the only thing I was doing every practice.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Friday practice with a bunch of beginners, whether it's
I was there. I was there.
I'm just sitting back right and just taking third balls. Honestly, I'd tell Alu, like I'd message him like, "Yo,
just hit me, man."
Yeah, just hit. Like I gotta work on it. So I mean, yeah, I was definitely gonna try and become the best back right that I could be.
When you now get this opportunity, you've cemented yourself as the back right of the team. The team has gone into a different direction. Like I said, there's no V. The Alu's the back center. You're the back right. You have the front line. Myself, Ali T, back left. Entering Orlando, the hunger for your first championship, obviously tasting a finals in 2019, then tasting a semifinals in 2019, then tasting another semifinal loss in Stanmore. I'm sure at this point the hunger level is at 1,000, right? Like you just want to win now, right? At all costs. What was it like, playing back right officially with the training now and with the second tournament under your belts in Orlando with that team? And what was it? What was that experience like with in terms of you and Aliusker and all the young guys wanting to win, Mikhail Darcy wanting to win their first championship? What was that entire
experience? It was unreal. Going into the tournament, it was straight up win or bust. Like
yes.
If you don't win, Orlando at home, like that's a big F right there. So I mean, it was not a question of like the hunger of wanting to win. It was like, yo, this has to happen.
It has to happen.
Because we were in every tournament. Every semis is like 100%. We're losing by a half a second or one ball out or this. It was something that just had to happen. And honestly, I'll never forget when we were setting up for the tournament, when we just started, we had like a little volunteer room. And we're going through everything, and like Hilal sitting there, it's like, yo, like this is because we spent months planning that tournament.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, okay, yo, time, like, let's go. He's like, yo, don't even worry about it. It's a dub.
Yeah.
From the beginning. Like it was not even a question. It was something that we just had to go out there. And we performed. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
And I remember a crazy thing that happened to me like 2 weeks before the tournament. And I don't think I've said this story to like anyone.
Okay.
But I was at mosque in the back, Johnny's Dalba Classic. Some guy came up to me. I'm not gonna say his name. He's like, "Hey, if Orlando loses, you're off the 18."
Wow.
Like, yo, like, I mean, I don't even like this guy. Doesn't even he doesn't play volleyball. I don't know I don't know if he knows what a third ball is. Like this guy's like talking smack like 2 weeks before the tournament, and that's when I realized, like, yo, this is it.
Yeah. That was my next question to you. I think as much as you wanted to win, of course, and as much as that hunger is there, Stanmore was a coming out party for you. But I think Orlando was going to be where you cemented yourself. Did you take that in like, okay, now I have to prove myself? And did you not only did you prove yourself, you had the opportunity to prove yourself because everyone cut off the left side and decided we're just going to go KJ and Freddy. And you were in that pocket. We're against Stanmore, the two lefties. Yeah. You were there against Imran Walji. You were taking every single type of third ball all tournament long. What was that time like? And did you truly feel like, okay, and you won finals MVP, we all know that. You obviously, for you, I'm sure, in your mind was like, this is my time to prove to everyone that I belong.
Yeah. Yeah, on paper, that's the perfect strategy, right? Take Imran out the game, hit the new guy, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like the quarters it was kind of like not easy sledding, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we just went through the motions, we got it
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
and then the semis versus Stanwell was kind of where it picked up, like the heat
Yeah.
picked up, and honestly, Moots Blue that tournament was hitting some
Oh my
good balls,
God.
bro.
He was on
Like he was
fire.
hitting some like there's no way that I'd have to dive to take some
I
of these
would I would
balls.
say he was hitting the best third balls that tournament, in my
I
opinion.
think so. I
Yeah, I
think
think
so.
so.
I mean,
Like
he
he
was
he
he
was
was
he was on
pounding. Even
fire.
Abasa, he was hitting that
Yeah.
crossbar ball he has
Yeah.
is crazy. But yeah, I kind of had to not only like prove it to my guys, like my team, but kind of also to myself a little bit.
Yourself.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, like this is not. There's no excuse. Like, oh, I just started playing back right 2 weeks ago. This is
Exactly.
like, yo, now we got to do it. And
100%.
it was sick, man, because it like you were saying, full circle. I got to win in front of my family, in front of my
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
wife.
Your
Like it
father, I'm
was it
sure, was
was
super very proud of
crazy,
you.
crazy. Yo,
Uh,
it was nuts.
seeing his son obviously coming from where he was to
It was
now,
wild.
and your mother and your wife, of course, and your sister, and all of that. And I think also playing amongst your friend in Aliasco who you grew up with, uh,
Yeah.
playing with the
And
front
honestly, we
line.
built so like honestly now that you talk about it, we built a lot of chem playing next to each other for a
100%.
while
All
now.
those years.
Like
All
it
those
seems
years.
like every time we play, it's kind of like a new dynamic, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's been a while that we've
Been a
been
long
going through
time.
it.
You guys have been together almost 5 years
Yeah.
now, and you guys, and like I said, the front line and yourself, and it just everything seemed like it came full circle. The feeling of winning not only the Finals MVP but your first championship. Explain that feeling to me. What was that time like, and was it kind of like, wow, I did it. I finally did it. I found my calling, and I did
Yeah,
it.
it kind of feels like a relief, sort of
Yes.
like very
Yes.
weirdly, like
Yeah.
all those years of practice. God knows how many thousands of dollars I've spent on
Yeah.
volleyball practice.
And
It's
tournaments.
getting
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Zishan, we need to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like
but
champions should
yeah,
get
man,
some
like
sort of discount,
every
right?
practice,
Like
like
champions should get
Wednesdays,
champ
Fridays.
champions should get
Huh?
some discounts. Can we go agree to that?
I agree.
There should be a championship discount.
I've been trying to work on the community discount for the past 7 years now. It still hasn't worked.
But yes, you're
Um,
right. All the practices, all the tournaments.
But
Yeah.
yeah, all the practices, San Lando,
Oh my
Jamestown,
God, San Lando.
organizing the tournament, twice a week meetings, yo, it was great. Like for a period of like 3-4 months before the tournament, like it was like a Monday tournament meeting, Wednesday tournament
Yeah.
practice, Thursday, oh, something happened, we have to
Yeah.
meet, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Friday tournament practice. Like, it's a lot of effort that went into it, and it kind of just felt like it's done, and we got it, and it's lit. So it was amazing. I can't
When
even explain it.
when you are done winning your championship, I think for me, I could say this now, that I truly am proud of what you accomplished, because I think in today's game, a lot of kids, a lot of youth want to play positions they're not ready for. Sometimes you get carried away. Sometimes you feel like you can do something, but mentally or even just physically, you're just not there. The capabilities are not there. You can play front left, maybe much better than you can play front right. Maybe you can play the wings better than you can play in the center. And a perfect example of that is you, a man who was put in multiple positions to find his way, to finally get a calling, to finally find his footing, and then push through what could have been super demoralizing with coming into a team that was already a dynasty. What could have been super demoralizing coming into a team that already had a very good front line that you were never going to penetrate through. Push through to a time where
I'm
they
still
actually
trying. Still trying.
Push through a situation where you had to go in the net and then play in the side and then get called. Push through a situation where you got stuck into the back right because guess what? We have nowhere else to put you, and that's the only position we have. Push through to a time where you had to prove to everybody that you belonged, and then push through to a time where you were being attacked in the grandest stage of them all, and finally winning a trophy. I think if there's any role model for kids to look at for who to model their game after, it would be you, because you can play any position in any level at any time at an elite level, and that is something to be commendable about.
That's very flattering, man. Thank
so
you.
A lot of credit
Thank
for you, because I know it isn't easy. A man that had to change his position after 10 years. I can only imagine what you had to go through year in, year out, just trying to find your place. So a lot of credit goes to you for your hard work, your perseverance, and your good attitude. Because I think
Thanks, man. Thank you.
your attitude is key. I think you took everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, man. Whatever you got, give it to me. I'll do my best.
Right? I mean, especially on this team, you get a shot. You gotta take.
Yeah,
no matter where it is. If you want to play this little corner,
that's it. Like that's it.
And honestly, props to you too. You took it with a huge grain of salt. Yeah. Everyone knows the kind of BS you've been through past couple months, especially.
Yeah.
It's not easy, bro. It's not easy.
It's not. When you get dealt lemons, you got to make lemonade. That's it. What it is. And you've done that all your career. So a lot of credit goes your way. When you are looking at the youth of today, and I talk about this, a lot of youth want to play positions maybe they're not ready for, which they can be ready for, but maybe not in due time. Any advice that you have for them that maybe they're not where they want to be, but they can be because look at you got there, they can do it? Any advice to those kids that want to, maybe they're not getting the chance to play front center today, but maybe in 4 or 5 years they'll be ready for that?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any advice, it's like, you just got to be a team player at some point. Yeah. Like, there's only, and this is a quote, I don't know who said it, I don't know where it came from, but there's only one ball.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's a really smart quote if you think about it. There's only one ball. If everyone on the team wants to be a star, it's gonna
work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. You gotta be a team player. You get your shot, take it, and if you are what you say you are, it's gonna work out.
Agreed. I want to ask you now, moving forward, you won your first championship. They say hunger subsides after you win your first one. A part of you, and then they also say that disappointment comes aplenty when you start losing after your first one. So if you win one and then you start losing, you're going to start feeling it way worse than if you never won. What is your goals? What is your aspirations? Obviously, you want to win championships and you want to win multiple and you want to prove yourself outside of Orlando and blah, blah, blah. We all know that, right? But in the back of your mind, do you want to be the best back right in the game? Is that your goal?
I mean, I think it should be everyone's goal in whatever position that they're playing, that they should be the best in that position. Like, it should, like, if you're playing not to be the best, I mean, then okay, I mean, you have your own goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to compete also, like, I'm trying to be the best player I can be. I'm trying to make my team the best team that we can be and win as many as we can. Obviously, one thing that, like, I grew up with, like, coming with El Union and stuff like that, where we weren't winning very much, is the fun part of volleyball tournament is the people. So when you go to a tournament, just enjoy. You have friends from all over the world coming together, have fun. But when you get inside those four lines, bro, that's when you got to keep it going.
Get the job done. I think when you look at, and I think I learned this the hard way. Sometimes if your goals are selfish and you want to be the best back center, for example, in my opinion, in my case, if I want to be the best back center in the game and I worked very hard to do that, you realize very quickly that winning championships is what brings you that glory. That you can try to be the best at all those positions. There's always going to be someone that's going to be just as good or almost as good. But when you win championships, automatically your name is up there.
Yeah, I think so.
You're in a spotlight, right? They talk about you. They magnify you. So I think for you, you've proven yourself. You've done what you needed to do, but you've also won. And now winning will only continue to add to your story, right? Your career.
Yeah, I mean, December was the first. Trying to get more than one.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
And we're coming with Orlando A is never gonna go to a tournament to get to the semis.
100%. Yep.
It's just not. It's not how it was when I moved here. It's not how it is now, and I hope in the future that that's not how it is either. Yeah. Because these guys, KJ, Ari, JJ, all these guys. I mean, JJ especially. Started this huge club, dynasty club, and it's like our duty as like members of the club. We go to practice every week, just not to just go play volleyball, but to keep it going. You know what I mean?
Agreed. It's a torch that you've been passed, and it's your job to continue it. You are, again, I think this is probably the one guy I've had to ask this question to that I don't know the answer. Like, I can't figure out what the answer would be, because you've played so many positions. You played the front line, you played the net. We talked about now you're playing in the back. Who have you modeled your game after? Who was the one guy you loved watching growing up? One guy you loved, you truly looked up to in terms of I want to be just like him or as close to his traits on the court as possible.
It's a really, you know what, like I don't know if there's one. And to be real, when we moved to Orlando, this is when Orlando was prime. You know what I mean? This
prime.
front line was started banging. Our Phillies drop buying crazy third balls. JJ stomping on the floor. All this. So when you practice against these guys every week, you have to model your game after them, each and every single one. KJ lights out defense. The KJ not gonna. Bro, last week, hit I think 50 third balls to KJ.
What a practice last week. Yeah, what a practice.
And he gave like 2 points out of like 50 third. Like that in itself, if you model it just after that, you're gonna be amazing. Hilal IQ is through the roof.
Yeah.
Imran can cut. Imran, you know what? Shout out Imran Javraj. When I moved here, he was living in Miami, and we used to practice at Greenwood Lakes, and he would have to come back because you have to play a certain amount of practices to be considered, whatever.
Yeah.
So he'd come back. On the way back from Miami, he'd FaceTime. He's like, yo, what up? And we were like friends off the court as well. He's like, yo, what up? He's like, yo, where are you? He's like, yo, I'm on Turnpike coming back. Practice tonight. You're going to be there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm coming for you. And this was on the week. Every practice, he would call me. He's like, yo, I'm going to hit this many balls to your left side. This. And you know, Imran, it's just the way he talks smack. But it kind of had to like get me on my toes every week. And I had to pick it up.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something quickly before you cut off. Something about Imran Javraj that a lot of people don't know. I have seen him work with some of the youth today, and Mason Darcy, for example. I've seen him show him some videos. He's invested in some of those guys, man. So credit.
Yeah, for sure.
Credit.
Imran's passion for the game.
Credit to Imran Javraj.
It's a very weird passion for the game. But
it's very strong. It's very strong.
He's a winner. And he does whatever whatever he can.
Whatever it takes to win. Yeah. But
he'll sell his leg.
Yeah, 100%. So you modeled your game after those guys.
Yeah, man. You play against them, you have to model it. Otherwise, they're gonna take 40 points off you in the practice.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like that. I like that take. You're right. You're coming into a place like this where there are already prime players. It's the perfect place to model your game after those guys. Coming into Minnesota, a place that hasn't been kind to Orlando. Let's talk about that for a second, right? So we have the JJ situation where JJ gets food poisoning, doesn't play. Boss man is third line, gets to play. We all know about that. Then we have the
they put him on the roster a week before just in case.
I know. I just heard that story too. Third, the thing that happens with Hassan Manakia, right? Cramps, his legs cramp, doesn't have a second netty in the finals of all times. And that's when you're thrusted into the Jose 2011. Everyone remembers he runs into the bleacher, loses like half his teeth in our semifinal matchup. So Minnesota hasn't been kind. That's why we're taking 19 players on the A team this time, just in case anybody gets hurt. We have a backup. Tell me about, what, again, we talked about this. Orlando Union is not going to tournaments to make it to the semis. What is the goal this time? Is it a dub for sure?
Simple, bro. It's a simple. It's win or bust.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, honestly, I know it's cliche or whatever, but like if we don't win, if you ask every single person on the team, it's an F. It's a failure. Yeah. Like we have to win.
Yeah.
And I think after the last Minnesota tournament, after whatever happened to us in the finals, there was just some bad stuff in the air that day. I think that, weirdly enough, is the one that everybody wants to like redeem because that was the one we were looking forward to. Nick, Akhtar, Kizzer, Muna, Mehboob, Hasnain. Like it was a crazy, like on paper, that is the matchup of a century.
Yeah, it is.
And it was trash.
Yeah. Yeah, we were expecting something a lot better.
To go like redeem that one.
And it's funny, Ali T mentioned us, called us the redeem team back in Orlando because Orlando had not won in 6 years, and we were the redeem team. I think we're the redeem team again for Minnesota. We're going to try to continue on that legacy and try to redeem ourselves in what has taken place in Minnesota and for Orlando. Your prediction for this tournament? give me. I know you're saying Orlando, wants to win, blah blah blah. But tell me who's in the finals. That's all I care about. Who's in the finals? I'm not going to put you in a bad spot. Who's in the final?
I think we meet Stars in the final.
Okay, I agree. So let's just say Orlando Stars, right? Let's just say Orlando wins. What is the future of Orlando Union look like to you in terms of, like you said, you have a responsibility. You have a torch that has been given to you. You now have, let's just say we win Minnesota. We're going to New York next year, which is hopefully holding a tournament. Three-peat is on the line, right? Everybody wants to do. Everyone wants to do back-to-back. Once you do back-to-back, you want to do the impossible, which is a three-peat. Let's just
baby Kobe three-peat.
Yeah. Exactly. Everyone wants to do those things, right? Obviously unrealistic sometimes because it's very difficult to win in today's game, especially away from home. But let's just say all that happens. What do you think is the future of Orlando Union with the influx of you guys, the youth, the veterans, with all the frontline guys? I mean, they still got some legs in them, right? So what is your take? Is it let's try to win the next one and then the one after that and let's do the three-peat?
I mean, I think so. I don't see any reason why anything would need to drastically change unless barring something crazy happening. Injuries, or for example, if someone's like, I'm not playing anymore, then that's a different story. But if we win, if we put out a good showing in Minnesota, I think New York is not a tournament where you go into and try new things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Try to win that
one.
Like
I feel like we have established a team that works very well together. I mean, honestly, we just added a new backline. Basically, these guys do all the work.
Yeah.
We just hit shots. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like we have a puncher's chance in every tournament, and we should keep running it. I don't think it's healthy to look for a three-peat before the two-peat back-to-back.
Agreed.
So I'm not even thinking about New York, to be honest. I'm focusing on Minnesota.
I think that's the key. I think winning away from home in general is one of the hardest things to do.
It would be
so
amazing.
I think that would be
and for some reason, like, a lot of people don't like that Minnesota gym and stuff like that. I really like that gym. I'm down to win there.
The Crystal one?
I don't know. Are they playing at the mosque or Crystal?
I don't know if we're playing at the mosque anymore. That's not what I heard. So
I'm down to win at the mosque.
Yeah, same. Me too. That's like
even Crystal. I enjoy Crystal.
That's like my second home. That mosque, bro. Like, I need.
Honestly, it would be a nice redemption story if we read
exactly
Crystal.
Exactly. Like, it would be. It would be.
One.
It would be. Lastly, from your perspective, you've played in an era, the current era. You played in a previous era where the front line was coming up at the time. What do you see as the main difference between the eras? And do you think, for a man like yourself who had to make a mark in this era, do you think it was tougher back then to make a mark, or do you think it's tougher now to make a mark?
It's a really weird mix of both. I feel like back in the day there was one team, max two teams per city.
Yeah.
Like, there was one, maybe a B team from Orlando would go, one, maybe a B team from New York. There's Stars, Joffreys, all of these guys are taking one team.
Yeah.
You get on that team, you could show out, and if you play good, like, they'll take you again.
Yeah.
But now, like, for example, here, if in December, we had 5 teams.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
To even climb from D to C,
it's difficult.
Where D to B is a crazy jump. So it's really hard, just based off, at least how it is in Orlando. There's so many. We have 30, 35 players on a random Friday.
On a Friday night, yeah.
So like, it's tough, but I mean, I think today it's a little bit soft, to be honest. Like, the kids these days, their hands are getting held a little too much. Like,
I agree.
If you put someone third line today, like,
oh my god,
they'll tell you like, yo, why you disrespecting me like this or something. So,
bro.
Something. Well, I remember when I moved here, I sucked so bad. Like, you don't even understand. It was bad. And one person every week take me on their team, and no matter what, it would scream at me, yell at me, but every time I messed up, he was there like, yo, next one. And that's Ari. Ari, every single time. And like, he brought up all these youth that, like, previous Orlando youth team, Imran Jamal, Zulu, Anji, Fam, Zishan, all those guys. Bro, he used to go there like he was at Hot Shots like 3-4 times a
The
week.
week, yeah.
Friday practice, invitee, kids practice, this, that. Like it was crazy. And I think now we don't have like that kind of thing. So all the kids, they just come to Friday and expect like, yo, like,
and just
I'm not gonna say who, but there's a guy at our practice started 3 weeks ago. He's like, I want to play back center.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
Agreed. Like, yo, I had to wait 4 years to play back center, bro.
Yeah, you're so right, man. You're so right. It's so funny. I recall my days in New York Union when I was coming up and I was finally put in the back line. I was playing back left for Freddy Virani. And I played in a Ramzan tournament. And I remember Musti was our captain. He was playing back right. So you can just imagine the state of our team at that time if Musti's playing back right? So I'm just kidding, Musti. So Musti's playing back right.
Not kidding, Musti. He's not kidding.
Freddy Virani's back center. I'm back left. And the front line is the front line. And we're playing and we're losing the game. And I've never been given an opportunity. Now I've already earned my stripes to play in the back now. I'm actually one of the almost not veteran, but I've actually one of the more decent players on the team because our team was
a couple years.
Yeah, well, exactly. And our team was minimal, right? It was like 10, 12 players. So we're playing and the Ramzan tournament's happening. It was 3-team Ramzan tournament. And we're playing this round robin game. End of the game is happening. Freddie can't take a point. So Freddie, he was tired. It was probably the end of the night. And we have 2 minutes left. We're down by 3. Not even. It was like a minute and 10 seconds. We're down by 3. And Musti goes, Salman, it's your turn. He puts Freddie back left and he puts me in the back center, right? First third ball I get, mind you, we don't have the serve. We're down 3 points, under a minute left. I hit the ball out. Musti turns around. He goes, your time is done, brother. Third line.
No.
Can you believe that? Bro.
Yeah.
Third line,
you can't do
I sat there. I shut up. I took it. People were upset at Musti about it. I remember till today. People are going to him like, yo, you stunted that kid's, blah, 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 blah. But that taught me so much because the very next week, Musti gave me another opportunity. And this time, I didn't hit the ball out because I knew if I did, I wasn't going to play. So
bro, I got put third line in LA Union, LA Fitness practice. I played side net and no one hits the net. One ball out of like 3 games comes to me and I don't even like see it. It just drops right next to me.
Yeah.
My dad's like, yo, like, go sit down.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, like it's the first ball I got in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's how we learn.
Like,
look,
how it is, bro.
Safe was our best netty on New York Union. I remember this till today. And he was playing, we were playing a practice. It was just a regular Friday night practice. And he was getting lazy. Okay. And now me being his brother, obviously the captain.
Classic. He used to tell me, tournaments I'll play 100%.
Yeah. So he's getting lazy, right? And I'm like, and he's lifting for me. So I'm like, that shit don't fly. So I let it go first time, let it go second time, third time, fourth time. He lifted a ball so lazy, it went back into the net. So I looked at him. I said, yo, third line. And he looked at me like, no. Netty, third line, your best netty, your main netty, third line. There was no second netty. So now he's like, shit, okay. He goes third line. Mo Shul turns around. He goes, I have to go in the net. He goes in the net. We were playing 5. We're now playing 4 with 1 net. We lose the game. We get trashed, okay? And afterwards, Safe is like, yo, what the hell? And I was like, I didn't give a shit if we lost. But you do not come to my practice and act lazy or play lazy.
Yeah, no, I mean,
ever since that day, every time Safely plays with me, you'll see, he won't play lazy because he knows.
I see you guys. I see you guys in the middle.
We go back and forth. We go back and forth a lot, right? But
it's fun to see, honestly.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. But you see, that's the thing, man. That's the day and age that we were in. And I think the kids are nowadays, sometimes, brother, you mess up 3 third balls, you hit 3 third balls out in a row, you're out. Yeah. It don't work like that. You especially if you gain that opportunity. Okay, we're done. We're done with the questions. We're now on to rapid fire. And first thought, give me a sentence. Give me your first thought whenever you hear this. You're a defender. You're a back right. Tell me the best defender in the game today.
KJ.
I love that. Best defender of all time.
It's a tough question for me to answer because I feel like I haven't been in for that long. So I mean, I have to give it to Hasnain Gigi. I think. I think it's. Yeah. I think it's definitely a earned. It's definitely an earned thing, but
I agree.
I mean, we played against him so many times.
Yeah, not easy.
He doesn't give, bro.
You're a back right. Give me your top 3 back rights in the game today.
Top 3 back rights. Even though he hasn't played in a while, I have to give it to Ari.
Yeah.
I have to give it to Ari.
Mm.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
You know who had a really good tournament that was overlooked is Mo Koffi.
100%.
Man City. He had a good one.
100%.
I saw him hitting some first balls. I was like,
man.
yo.
I agree.
And honestly, one thing I realized back right is like, yeah, you have to play defense, but you can only play defense for so long. You get that first ball.
You got to be aggressive.
You got to go. And another back right. Who played back right? I mean, if you count Imran Walji back right.
Yeah, Abbas Ali.
Oh yeah, I can't. How would I forget him?
Yeah,
he's definitely there.
Yeah. But again,
he always points at me though. He'll get a point off me in a game, and he'll always point. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it.
The best ball you've had to defend against.
Does it matter front line or back line?
No.
That quarterfinal, Joffrey's, all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
With Minnesota, I remember Nick was playing front left when he got set. Like my heart would skip a beat because I thought I was gonna hit in the face.
Yeah. I got nicked too. Don't worry, I know that.
Even Kizzer, when he gets that front line set, it's lights.
Yeah. In your opinion, the GOAT, who's the greatest of all time?
Has to be Faisal.
Yeah.
Has to be. I saw him. Haji, we went B team, Arcades 2015. We were playing North in that third court in the Arcades ground, and Haji miraculously digs 2 Faisal third balls into the net.
Wow!
On the point.
Wow!
Haji, this is Haji.
Wow!
He goes to the net.
Yeah, I remember this.
He takes 2. Faisal takes the next 2 points off Haji. Haji goes back left corner. Okay. He's gone. He's hiding. And now Faisal's like on some crazy level. He hit 1 spinner, and Maz doesn't dive much.
Yeah.
Maz don't and miss the ball. The ball like bounced in his hands. Like, yo, it was crazy. To see someone to do that.
Definitely go. Favorite moment playing volleyball in your entire career till today? Give me the one moment that was your favorite.
It had to be in the final.
Yeah.
Versus Minnesota. Because honestly, I felt like they were hitting every single ball in that gap at the end. And I was like, yo, I remember.
Have you watched the last rally? The last rally, you're like on the floor and then you dive and then you're on the floor again and you dive.
Because we were up like 4 points, 5 points, with like a couple minutes left. Yeah. And these guys get lazy, bro.
They do.
They like, I remember like in the middle of the rally, like you can see KJ like, like when
just let the game finish now. Yeah.
He's just like waiting for the game. I'm like, we still gotta freaking win this, bro.
Yeah. I remember KJ messes up a few balls in the end of that game, and you go to him like, yo, like, wake the hell up. Like, we still got some time. And he's like, yeah, chill, bro. Like, I'm fine.
I mean, like, you know what? They've been there.
Yeah, they know. Maitham Mehdi. Talk to me about Maitham Mehdi.
Honestly, his honesty is amazing. What he's done with that Minnesota team in general, like to 100%. Flip it up like that. I know Imran Walji's there and they have their vets or whatever, but it feels like he's really taken the reins for that team and he's really like leading them.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's got game. Bro.
He's got game.
Like I mean, I guess maybe I was a little like cocky going into that Minnesota thing, whatever that we played, and I was like, "Yo, Maitham playing back center." Like I thought Alu should be playing back center.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's Minnesota, so
so it is. Yeah, makes sense.
And like on that tournament, man, he earned my respect. Bro. He was playing defense, hitting third balls, and a fun fact that steady chant. That started in that quarterfinals.
Yes, I remember.
That quarterfinals, game 3, we were up by, I don't know, 9, 10, 12, whatever, how many points we were up. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, steady. It's love wall. It's love wall, steady. And he was screaming through for 5 minutes, continuous, steady, love wall. Yeah. And then honestly, now he's taking it to another level and he needs to stop.
Yeah. Talk to me about Aliaskar Alu, man. Aliaskar Alu, a guy that you've grown up with and now played with. What has it been like playing with him all these years? What is your take on it?
I mean, our games have like kind of not mirrored, but we used to play a lot when he was at Orlando Joffrey's.
Yeah.
We used to take a team. I remember we used to take, it was a crazy team with me, Pops, Ari, Maz, Jivraj, MZ, Alizi. And after our practice on
You would
Fridays,
go
we'd
there.
go to Orlando
Yeah.
Joffrey's and we'd play them. And like, he was always like, they had some good players, but he was always like, like in fantasy, he's like that dynasty player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like
Yeah.
the diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And after every single practice, like you know how Snapchat has the text that goes away after you like swipe.
Yeah.
So me and Pops would go on Snapchat and we'd go to Aliaskar Alu and we'd tell him, when you come into Union, send.
Yeah.
The next practice, when you come into Union, send. And then he joined, and since then it's been crazy ride. It's been amazing.
It's been a good
fun.
ride. Yeah, it's been a good ride.
It's awesome. And I feel like we have like some crazy good chemistry on the court together. Like there's sometimes where I'm standing in that gap and I don't even have to say anything. He's right there taking whatever I can. So it's really cool.
Talk to me about KJ, playing behind KJ. What has that been like? What is that whole experience like? That right line. What is that like? That's like a different. That's like line. That right line's a beast, man. Like what is that? What is that experience like?
It's KJ. Honestly, whatever you want to say about me, back right, defense, KJ makes it so much easier, bro.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you put anybody else there, like it's a different.
He's gifted, man. He's gifted.
He takes some of the balls like he takes are mind-boggling.
Yeah,
like the balls that I'm like yo, I have to stretch.
Yeah.
And like honestly, I got like a decent reach. Like I'm gonna have to stretch and take this, and this guy's like floating
full on, lefty and all that shit that he
down
does
the line. I'm like, yo, what is this guy?
It's crazy. He can do lefty down the line, which is like unbelievable, bro. Like
not even that. His reaction time.
Yeah,
there's one ball in Stanmore videos. I don't remember what game it's in, but the ball hits Putty and he dives.
Oh my God! Yes,
lands on the floor.
Lands first,
and then hits Putty and he dives again.
He continues his dive.
And then you look at the thing and like the line is here and his hand is like
barely there.
And it's like,
bro, it was the craziest thing that I saw. He dove, stopped his dive, waited for the ball to hit the Putty, and then dove again
and put it in net.
I mean,
it's gifted.
Talk to me about Jamil Jaffer. Jaffer was legend of Orlando Union. I mean, LA Union. What was it like, Jamil Jaffer, man? What was that time?
I think Jamil Jaffer was definitely our best player.
Yeah,
for sure. I think he was captain, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I think he was captain. He was always playing center for us. He was always really encouraging. LA Union practice, we had a lot of like older guys who would just come like just to play, basically like my dad, Khalil Dewji, Jamil would come, like Murtaza Kanji, they would come play. And then we had like a bunch of youth guys like me, Ali Abbas, Kumail Dewji, Mason Dewji, Irfan, Ayaz, like all of us would come and he would play with us and just like, see what happens. And it was honestly amazing. And it was really cool to see him play. Even in tournaments, he was like
he was always played well. He always played well.
Yeah, man.
Last one. If you had to pick one, who's the next Freddy? Who's the next big youth coming out of Orlando? If you had to pick one, tell me who the next Freddy is. It's a tough one.
Crazy one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
There's a lot of good youth here, man.
A lot of good youth.
I'll give you between two.
Okay, fair. I'll take that.
And I'll let Alu take Ali Akbar Alu.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm gonna take my two picks are Amstar.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a wall. In 5 years,
100%.
I challenge anyone.
100%. Yes.
He's got his own stuff to figure out.
He has his own style. Yeah.
Once he figures it out, it's gonna be good. And if someone stays committed, Miqdad Jaffer is playing.
Yes. Miqdad Jaffer's got KJ-like ability. He just needs to. He just needs to refine it, and he's gonna be on his way.
I think so.
That's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much, Freddy, again for this opportunity. We've been on here for about an hour and a half, I think. So time goes.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, time goes. But only the beginning of your career. And I have a feeling in 5, 8 years, 7 years, if I'm still doing this, we're going to sit down for part 2 and you'll tell me about the next 5, 7 years of your career.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I think that would be super cool. But all the credit to you for what you've done. I'm excited to be able to play next to you, to be able to play beside you. We have played, I think, in the last 8 months, almost every single invitee practice together. So
the chemistry is
it's
through
been
the roof.
It's through the roof. It's been a good journey. I think you've made me better. And I've watched you and the way you defend, and I'm learning to trying to defend the same way as you. And you've always been a very supportive player, a very team-like player. And all I can say to the youth of today is if you want to make it in this game, be like Freddy, be that guy, try to be a team player, and you'll find your way, brother. The glory will come on its own. You just got to work hard for it like you have. So all the credit to you, man. I'm excited for what's about to come in Minnesota. And I thank you so much for coming on.
Nah, thank you so much for the opportunity again. It was a blast. This is fun. I feel like we have some of these conversations at practice even.
Regularly.
Like, you know?
Regularly.
So it's just like normal. So it's fun, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I'll see you in 15 minutes to 30 minutes. We have practice.
Yeah. We'll be, wait, it's invitee today?
Yeah.
We'll be together.
We'll be together probably. And we'll actually be on time because I think we went a little bit shorter than I thought. But yeah, we'll be good. I'll see you, brother. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. I love you all. Next week, I'm at Sumar. So get ready. Thanks, Freddie. I'll see you soon.